Do you want to make excuses or do you want to make music? And I hear people making excuses all the time, and I do this myself. I'll say something like, I'm going to start that song once I get this microphone, or I'll start recording this song once I get my new audio interface. Now, the truth is, you can get started making music right away. And in this video, I'm going to look at all of the things you don't need to start making music. And the last one just might surprise you, or maybe it won't, but we'll see when we get there. I'm Zane. Welcome to Audio Tech TV, where it's my goal to help you conquer the tech so you can unleash your creative beast. Now, the first thing I'm going to mention that you don't need is a MacBook or a Mac computer. You can actually get started on a Windows computer or even on your phone or tablet. Now, most of the programs for Windows and Mac are the same. There is GarageBand and Logic Pro that are Mac exclusive, but you don't need those programs to start making music or to make music at all. You can get Cakewalk by BandLab on a Windows computer. It's absolutely free, and you can get professional quality out of using that software. And there's several other free pieces of software that you can use for a Windows computer, and I'll link to a video down in the description that goes over quite a few of them. But if you've been using getting a Mac as an excuse to not make music, you can scratch that off the list. Now, this next thing kind of goes along the lines of what we were just talking about, but this one is you don't need expensive music making software, or a DAW as it's called. So you don't need something like Pro Tools or Ableton Live to start making music. You can use free programs. Like I said, there's Cakewalk by BandLab that's free. There's Traction Waveform free, and both of those programs are completely unlimited. You can get into those programs, start making whatever type of music you want, and you're not limited by anything. These aren't trials. There's no crippled version of these programs. These are the full programs that you're getting. So if you're using expensive DAW software as your excuse, you can cross that one off your list. Now, this next thing is expensive plugins. You don't need expensive plugins for your software to start making music. There's a ton of free VST plugins available out there, and these are from effects plugins to instrument plugins, and you can start making music with these and only use free plugins, and you can still get great results. But if you do have a little bit of a budget for some plugins, there are some great inexpensive plugins out there, and some of my favorites are the Waves plugins. And at first glance, they may appear as premium high price plugins, but if you go to their website, they always have sales on, and you can get them for like $30, somewhere around there, and you can buy one or two at a time and start to build your plugin library like that. That's what I personally do. And sometimes when you buy a couple of plugins, they give you a couple for free. There's also Plugin Boutique that has all kinds of great professional plugins on there, and they always have sales on them. I'll include a link to Plugin Boutique and Waves down in the description so you can check those out if you want. Also, if you purchased a Focusrite audio interface, check your user account and go into My Software, and they always update it with some free VST plugins that are premium plugins that most people would have to pay for, but because you have your Focusrite interface, you can get them for free that month. So always check back to see what's available that month, even that week sometimes. And you also get that time and tone bundle with your Focusrite audio interface, which is a great bundle of plugins. And like I said, if you just search around, you can get great free plugins or inexpensive plugins. You don't need the top of the line ones to start making music. All right, before I get into the next thing that you don't need, I just want to ask if you're enjoying this video so far and getting some value out of it, can you please hit that thumbs up button and maybe even consider subscribing to the channel for more videos like this? It really helps my channel out, and I appreciate it so much. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is a piece of hardware, and it's an expensive microphone. You don't need an expensive microphone to start making music. The truth is, you can start with a $20 microphone like this Behringer XM8500, or even a cheap USB mic like the Fifine K669, and I've reviewed both of those mics on my channel. I even did a video on the Behringer XM8500 where I recorded a whole song using this microphone, and it turned out decent. The truth is, you don't need the expensive SM7B microphone or an expensive Neumann microphone. You can use a cheap microphone and an EQ plugin and get decent results with that. And this next thing is another piece of hardware. You don't need to spend hundreds of dollars on an audio interface to start making music. I've reviewed the Behringer UM2 and the UMC22, and both of those are very capable audio interfaces, and they are under $50, and you can absolutely start making music with those. But you don't even need an audio interface to start making music. The truth is, if you want to make music all inside the box, meaning you're not going to be recording anything in really, you're just going to be using virtual instruments, maybe some loops and samples to make your music, you can do that all within the box. You don't need an audio interface. What the audio interface does is it helps you with your recording really, and it will get you better recording results than your built-in sound card. But it's not absolutely necessary to have an audio interface to start making music. You'll probably want one eventually because you can connect your monitors to it, your studio headphones, and that sort of thing as you start to grow your home studio. But that's later on down the road. You don't need it right away. You can start making music just with the computer you have or the tablet you have, your phone, whatever it is. There's software on there that will allow you to start making music. All right, another piece of hardware that you don't need is a Midi keyboard like what I've got right here. You do not need one of those to start making music. Sure, it can help, but it's not necessary. You can just draw your notes into the piano roll, and that's very easy to do. Or some programs like Cakewalk and Traction Waveform Free, plus many others, will allow you to use your computer keyboard as a Midi keyboard, and you can record that and mess around with that, then edit whatever MIDI notes you want to edit in there. So you don't need a MIDI keyboard. It does help. If you do have a budget, you might want to consider getting one, but it's not absolutely necessary to have one to start making music. And that's one of the things I hear people making the excuse. If I just had a MIDI keyboard, I'll start making music. Scratch that off your list. You do not need one. And continuing on with the hardware theme, a lot of people seem to think they need studio monitors or even studio headphones to make music, and that's absolutely not true. You can use your earbuds if that's what you have, whatever earbuds came with your phone or something like that, or consumer grade headphones that you bought at the bargain store. You can use those. If that's what you have, use those. I actually used $5 headphones that I got at some bargain store a long time ago. Those were my first studio headphones. They weren't actually studio headphones. And once you start recognizing the frequencies that they hype and that sort of thing, you get to know those headphones and you can make decent quality music on them no matter what kind of headphones they are. It's because you understand what frequencies these things hype, what frequencies maybe are left out, and then you know how to EQ things, and just try your mixes out on different systems to hear how it sounds outside of your computer. And that's how you start to get to know your headphones. And you're going to have to do that with studio monitors and studio headphones anyway, because they are all different and you're going to need to get used to them. But studio headphones and monitors typically start with a flatter response, so they're not as hyped as a consumer grade pair of headphones are. And this next thing just might surprise you, but you don't need actual real instruments to start making music, or even know how to play instruments to start making music. You can get a bunch of free VST instruments out there, and a lot of these sound great. Some of them even were premium instruments, but they've turned into free ones now. So you're getting free premium instruments. And a lot of the software that you might be using the plugins in will show you what notes you might want to use with whatever pattern you're creating. So you don't really need to know how to play instruments or even own instruments to start making music. Just get started. And if you want to check out 50 of the best free VST instruments that you can get right now, click the video on the screen or click the one under it to see what YouTube recommends. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. For Audio Tech TV, I'm Zane. Keep creating, and we'll talk soon.